Damage 365 Radio with your host Kevin Nasta and John Torrey.
Behold the King of Kings. There is only one.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Damage 365 Radio. This is episode number 28. I am your host, Coach Kev, along with the real number 8, JT, who's in the house. Yes. As you can see, Daniel Bryan has stole Triple H's thunder on Damage 365 the day after he stole it on Monday Night Raw. And I think he will continue to steal the thunder, as he will walk away as WWE Heavyweight Champion this Sunday at Hell in the Cell. God willing. That's right. Alright, let's get to it. We'll start off with this past weekend that neither JT and I were in attendance for, but the Nightmares dropped their final two games of the regular season to Supreme 11-1 and 10-4. These two losses dropped their record to 7-7 on the regular season, which we previously called. Yes, we did. We win some, we lose some, we win some, we lose some.
But we call everything.
Yep, that's pretty much it. And they will move on to the playoffs as a number 5 seed, and will take on the Griffs in round 1, which was our opponent 2 weeks ago, and we split our only the season. Everything else was a sweep or be swept. So we'll take on the Griffs. We'll see which pitcher, the real Griffs pitcher, or the ringer who should be thrown out of the league pitcher.
Toss him.
For throwing the ball at the umpire, cursing at the umpire, threatening the umpire, threatening to plant drugs on the umpire and then call the cops, etc. Just more mature responsibility by grown adults at a softball field with not only women, but children in attendance.
Shame on you.
Awesome. And I don't mean the Miz awesome. Pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. But I can tell you one thing that is not pitiful, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the Torrey story.
And now, the John Torrey story.
What the hell is that?
And to take that away,
I'll tell you what that is.
JT.
I'll tell you what that is. That's why I'm here. What that is, it's week 8 in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. After week 7.
Usually.
Yeah. So it comes after 7. It's 8. Well, we have some notable injuries around the league after this week. Jay Cutler of the Chicago Bears goes down with a groin injury for 4 weeks. Also, teammate on the defensive end, Lance Briggs, with a shoulder injury, goes down 6 to 8 weeks. Reggie Wayne, one of the first times I've ever seen this man injured in my life, torn his ACL, and he's out for the year. Very sad. But his team did take down number 1, Denver Broncos. They did.
Yeah, they did.
Props to them and Andrew Luck. And Brian Cushing also broke his leg, tore his LCL. He is out for the year. And Doug Martin has a partially torn shoulder labrum. He could be done for the year. Some speculate. Some say yes. Some say no. I'm just pissed because he's on my fantasy team.
Yep.
Hasn't given me more than 10 points all year.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Get better, Doug Martin. Also, the Minnesota Vikings defense must be injured. because the New York Giants have struggled to run the ball effectively all season. And on Monday, the new guy in town, Peyton Hillis, he took some steps forward, and he scored a touchdown. And the New York Giants have their first win of the year. It's not funny.
Sure it is.
Why? It's not funny. The Giants have won a game. And they're only 3 games out of the division lead.
What the hell is that?
I don't know what the hell that is. It's amazing. It's amazing. Hillis is going to be the new number 1. He's also played for Denver, Kansas City, and Cleveland. He carried the ball 18 times, only for 36 yards, and had 5 receptions for 45 yards. But more importantly, he scored in the second half and led the Giants to a 23-7 victory over the Minnesota Vikings. And the Giants look to steal that division facing the Eagles.
I'll do the real laugh.
I'll laugh at you too. They'll face the Philadelphia Eagles next week in Philadelphia. New York already has lost 1 game to the Eagles. Moving on.
I would say across the Hudson, but it's across the parking lot.
To the other team, the team that has won the right to call it their stadium this year by winning the MetLife Bowl.
MetLife Bowl.
Yes. The New York Jets have done something that they haven't done since 2010 playoffs.
Wait. I want to guess. They beat the Patriots.
They beat the Patriots. How did you know?
Well, it was either that or they won 2 in a row.
You're funny. You're funny. But yeah, the New York Jets have defeated the New England Patriots. Props to them and Rex Ryan. And you can say what you want about their win, but just to let you know, because they won that game, their season just got serious. And I'd like to turn to my man, Coach Kev, over here, and ask him about his prediction of the New York Jets winning only 4 games this year. Are you telling me they're going to go on a 9-game losing streak?
Well, it's a possibility, just as much as everybody predicting the Giants are going to win 10 straight.
Well, we don't predict that.
But I also did say earlier in the year that the Jet fans need to be patient, let Geno Smith do his thing, let him mature, take a look at the future, and we'll see what happens because other rookie quarterbacks, and we named a whole bunch of them, led their teams to the playoffs in their rookie season. So come down off the bridge, or at least push a Giant fan off.
The New York Jets are only a tiebreaker away from actually holding the final playoff spot in the AFC.
That would screw up your predictions.
That would, but I wouldn't mind that. They are also only 1 game back of the division rival New England Patriots. They split the head-to-head tiebreaker, so it's going to go with strength of schedule. And the second half of the season shapes up very well for the New York Jets with games against the lowly Oakland Raiders, the lowly Cam Newton Carolina Panthers, and the lowly Cleveland Browns, who make some noise but not enough to be noticed by anybody. And they will also be sandwiching their 2 divisional matchups against the Miami Dolphins in 3 weeks. 2 games in 3 weeks.
The up-and-coming Miami Dolphins.
The up-and-coming? How about the up-and-falling Miami Dolphins?
Nah.
Win 3, lose 3.
It's okay. It's like nightmare softball.
Ain't doing nothing. But getting to the second half unscathed is another story. Because the New York Jets have a tough matchup this week facing the Cincinnati Bengals. 5-2, leading their division. And after that, before their bye week, they have to face the NFC South leading New Orleans Saints. And that, my friends, in the words of good old JR, is going to be a barn burner. It is. I look forward to it. But if the Jets can split those 2 games, which is not easy by any stretch of the imagination, then a 10-6 record is a very real possibility, Coach Kev.
Right.
Not a 4-12 record, or 4-8, whatever you called it last week.
4 and something.
4 and something. No, we're already 4 and something, and we're moving on up like the Jeffersons
Oh, God.
to the east side. And that, by recent standards, my friends, 10-6 is good enough to make the playoffs. Only twice since 2006 did a team finish 10-6 and not reach the playoffs. That was in 2008 and in 2010. And even 9-7 give the New York Jets a glimmer of hope to squeak into the playoffs.
Well, Redskins are going to help your chances next week.
Anybody can help their chances.
We're going to help you next week.
Help us.
When the Redskins hand Peyton Manning a second straight loss.
I like to see that happen. That is not somebody you want to face right now.
Sure it is.
No, it's not.
I'm not.
You're going to Denver?
You think I'm worried because what?
You're going...
Peyton Manning's upset because he lost the game to the Colts?
You're going to Denver, bro?
We just beat Chicago.
Oh, no, you're on a high. They're on a low. They're looking
Okay.
to kick some ass right now.
And we're looking to continue ass kicking.
They scored a season low, 33.
And we scored a season high.
45.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take another 45-41 game.
I can't see them scoring under 35.
The kick is up.
It is.
It's good.
Good.
Oh, it's a hole, dude.
That's Nick Folk right there. Good when it counts. Perfect on the season. 14 for 14. Nick Folk. Here are also a look at some teams contending for that final wildcard spot in the AFC. The San Diego Chargers, 4-3, currently hold that spot. Like the Jets, the Chargers are a surprise team, and they have wins over the Dallas Cowboys, which I don't think is a surprise, and the Indianapolis Colts. Now I'm thinking, how did that happen? The Colts just beat the Broncos, but they lost to the Chargers?
It
What?
happens.
What? They beat the Jets in the strength of victory tiebreaker, so therefore that's why they hold the 6th seed. The Jets are the 7th seed. The 8th seed are the Miami Dolphins with a 3-3 record. Their two matchups against the Jets will go a very long way in determining which AFC East team will contend for that playoff spot and challenge the Patriots for that division. Miami has played only one game in their division, and that was this week, Sunday, when they lost to the Buffalo Bills. Now, if you lose to the Buffalo Bills, you're not going to win your division. Plain and simple.
Yeah, because we already established the Buffalo teams stink.
That's right.
And every
Everywhere.
time they have a pay-per-view, there's a blackout.
Everywhere. The Tennessee Titans currently hold the 9th position with a 3-4 record. One of the teams the Jets hope to be better than when it comes to overall record when the season ends, since the Titans whipped their ass in a regular season matchup. Plus, the Titans have the luxury of facing the Jacksonville Jaguars twice in the second half of the season. You know, save the worst for last, not the best. They do, however, have to face the Indianapolis Colts and Denver Broncos 3 times over the remainder of the season. 2 in Indy, 1 with Denver. Good luck, Tennessee. Buffalo, in the 10th position, 3-4 record. Believe it or not, they have 3 wins. They've got a mixed bag in their remaining games. They have tough matchups against New Orleans Saints, the only undefeated team left in the league, the Kansas City Chiefs. And if you would have put $5 on that...
Andy Reid's Chiefs.
Andy Reid's Chiefs.
Oh, okay.
If you would have put $5 on that in Vegas, you'd be a millionaire right now.
Suck on that, Eagle fans.
They have divisional games, one against the Patriots, Jets, and Dolphins, each team in the division, and they have seemingly easy wins over the Jaguars and the Buccaneers. They don't have any wins.
That's true.
So, I mean, someone's got to win a game. I don't see the 08 Lions coming back.
Tie.
So, maybe a tie. Maybe if the Jags play the Bucs, they'll tie. And they'll both go still winless. 2 winless teams.
15-1.
15-1. First time that'll ever happen. Plus, the Buffalo Bills are dealing with more injuries than most, and it seems that they're starting a 3rd-string practice squad player at quarterback from that football factory, Duke University. They produce a lot of good football players.
Yeah. Eric Montross. Oh,
Yeah.
No, that was North Carolina.
Yeah.
What spot?
I said football.
I know. If I would have named the right basketball player, I wouldn't have screwed that up.
Call Fouza.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Shane Battier. He got a ring.
Sure.
And the Baltimore Ravens in the 11th spot. That's my number 5 seed.
That's the sleeper right there.
That's my number 5
That's
seed.
the team that's going to sneak up and bite everybody in the ass.
That's right. because that might be the team to watch more than any other on my list right here. The defending Super Bowl champs have lost absolute heartbreakers. I mean, you got to see it to believe it, against the Green Bay Packers and Pittsburgh Steelers in recent weeks. But the big game on Turkey Day, Thanksgiving, on national television, will be the Baltimore Ravens in the evening against the New York Jets, which likely will go a long way in determining tiebreakers and seedings late in the season. And thank God Mark Sanchez will not be quarterbacking on Turkey Day, because we do not want another butt fumble. We don't. We'll take the butt penalty, the butt push. That's fine, but no butt fumble.
Well, Gino's reverse behind the back butt fumble.
You know, that's his own version. That's why I like Mark Sanchez, because his butt fumble, it wasn't really deliberate. His guy was pushed into him. Geno Smith put it on his ass, literally. He wanted to show that Mark Sanchez was not the only quarterback in New York that can butt fumble. It can be done. Also, there are other teams that can't necessarily be counted out. Like I said, the lowly Cleveland Browns also sit at 3-4, while the Steelers, who started 0-4, have reeled off 2 straight wins against the Ravens and Jets, both playoff contenders, as I mentioned. Both, though, face a tougher climb than those ahead of them on the list. Granted, it's Week 7, there's plenty of football to be played, but based on the current playoff picture, the teams in contention, and the remaining schedules, the New York Jets are sitting pretty and high atop the leaderboard. Almost. At least in my mind.
No, Jesus.
And, you know, I wish I could take back my predictions.
You can't.
But I can't. Those are predictions.
Speaking about predictions.
You know, I have a lot of predictions.
Have you seen my April predictions still pulling through?
I've seen them.
Seen them?
I understand.
St. Louis Cardinals and the Boston Red Sox in the World Series, as I called back in April.
I know. We call everything here at Damage 365.
If my ultimate prediction comes true. Boston in 6.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, on a sad note, one of the founding fathers of the AFL, Bud Adams, also the owner of the former Houston Oilers and current Tennessee Titans, has passed away at the age of 90. Rest in peace, Mr. Bud Adams. This has been the Tory Story.
At least he lived a long, long life.
He did.
Almost got a Super Bowl ring.
Almost. 1 yard away.
And it's shout-out time! Yeah, we have a real birthday to shout out. The mother and father, Brittany and Damage alumni, Lee K, welcomed their brand new daughter, Emma Taylor K. Arrived at 3:21 p.m., 8 pounds, 4 ounces of healthy baby. Congratulations to the K family.
We always welcome new members to the Damage family.
It's good to see Man Mountain can make a little rock.
That's right.
Happy birthday to Damage infielder, the beautiful Annette Cannonzaro. Happy birthday, Annette. My old bowling partner, Joe Labargo Sr. Happy birthday. To Damage alumni, Nick Antonucci. Happy birthday. And to my cousin over there on the other side of the map, the West Coast, Doreen Gitter-Wiley. Happy birthday to all of you. And definitely a very happy moment for the K family. I'm very happy for Lee and Brittany, and I guess that means Lee's never, ever playing softball ever again. So, well, it was nice knowing you, Lee.
Yeah.
Enjoy fatherhood.
I got to meet you once.
All right, moving on to the Damage 365 Managers Tournament. We're in round 2. If you checked out our link at Facebook.com/Damage365, you saw that the first round was stockpiled full of 64, or is it 43? I can't see. No, it's 64. 64 of the greatest managers, chaperones of all time. And then we get it to round 2, as Captain Lou Albano moved on, defeating Armando Estrada. Charmel, Booker T's ex-wife, beat Arnold Scotland, and so now Captain Lou takes on Charmel. Vicky Guerrero, excuse me, moved on to the second round, and she will take on Lord Alfred Hayes. Yep, that could be a good one.
You know it.
Mr. Fuji, very underrated. Sorry, very underrated manager. He had many talents and championships, and a former tag team champion himself. Mr. Fuji, who actually made it to the semifinals with his partner Tanaka in the tag team tournament that we had. Excuse me. And he will take on Sonny Ono.
Watch out for that name.
Okay. Slick defeated Jillian Hall and moved on to the next round, and he will take on the winner of Jimmy Hart and Luna Vachon. And it was the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, taking on the Slickster, Reverend Slick.
I got Jimmy Hart.
I don't see why not. And the favorite, Bobby the Brain Heenan, defeated the Genius. Bobby the Brain Heenan, who's stable, won our Stables tournament. So that's got to say something about his managerial ability. And he will take on Deborah, who defeated Tiger Ali Singh.
Puppied him to death.
That's right. Miss Elizabeth defeats Jim Cornette.
That's a good matchup,
Miss
too.
Elizabeth moves on and takes on the Grand Wizard, who defeated Harvey Wimpleman. Miss Elizabeth versus the Grand Wizard. Okay, we got Buck Robley defeating Bulldog Benson. And it was the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, defeating Teddy Long, who's now a assistant general manager of SmackDown. Okay. Terry Runnels defeated Skandar Akbar, and she will take on Bill Alfonso, who defeated General Adnan, the former manager of the Iron Sheik, and Sergeant Slaughter when he became a sympathizer of the Iraqi nation. Lita. We'll have some stories about Lita later.
Oh, yeah.
Lita defeated Johnny Valiant, and she will take on Paul Ellering, the manager of the Road Warriors. So Lita versus Paul Ellering. Moving on, Michael P.S. Hayes defeated Kim Chi. Kim Chi, known as the man under the mask in the corner of Kamala. That's right. And Michael P.S. Hayes will take on Sable, a Sable defeated woman. And speaking about $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, his manager, or chaperone, or bodyguard, Virgil. Yes, Virgil, we have something positive to say about you. You don't have to sit in the corner selling your autographs.
It's amazing, right?
Virgil defeated Buddy Rogers, and he will take on Sonny, who defeated James Mitchell. Frenchie Martin, former manager of Dino Bravo, will take on Paul Heyman, who defeated Zeb Coulter, the manager of the Real Americans. So this should be interesting because Paul Heyman was one of the favorites in the Stables Challenge, and Bobby Heenan and Paul Heyman I can see somewhere down the road facing each other.
Absolutely.
How about this one? AJ Lee
My girl.
defeated Sir William and will take on Cyndi Lauper. Yes, the musician Cyndi Lauper defeated Arnold Scallon. AJ Lee versus Cyndi Lauper. Sensational Sherry. Of course, she moved on to the second round, defeating Scott D'Amore. And it was Don Duffy defeating Shinja. So it's Sherry versus Duffy. Paul Bearer, a.k.a. Percy Pringle. He defeated Medusa. Sorry, Medusa, you might be hot, but you're out. And he will take on, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, who defeated Bobby Davis. So it's the Paul Bearer versus Ric Flair. Stephanie McMahon Helmsley defeated Dale Edwards, and she moves on in our final bracket, and she will take on J.J. Dillon, who defeated Eric Bischoff.
Shaping up to be something interesting.
Something interesting. We have a lot of females in this bracket still.
We do.
Okay, so check it in, folks. Check it. Damage 365's Facebook page, facebook.com/Damage365. You can check out our tournament, and you can also check out all our tournaments. You can check out some of our posts we've made from baseball to football to wrestling, Whatever the case may be, we have posted it. So
Even a dummy picture.
Yes, we do. We got lots of pictures of things that are sports related or non-sports related, or this guy eating cake or whatever, Cookie Puss.
Cookie Puss.
That's right. My birthday's coming up, so who knows what videos and pictures.
Don't you wish you had some Cookie Puss cake?
Cookie Puss cake.
Yeah.
I like Cookie Puss cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calm down, baby.
That's right.
Yes, sir, we promised you a great main event here tonight.
Andres, a giant.
Hulkamania is running wild.
My God, what a the world is watching.
And we bring in our wrestling segment, ladies and gentlemen, and we'd like to welcome to the show one of our wrestling analysts, Nick. Welcome to the show, Nick, or I should say welcome back to the show, Nick.
Every week.
Every week, whether it's New York Mets baseball or it's wrestling recap, whatever the case may be, we know Nick is always there for Damage 365.
Always, guys, always.
As many of you have seen on our Facebook page, well, I'm just going to whore it out again, facebook.com/Damage365. The Damage 365 t-shirts have arrived, and the Damage 365 radio show, myself, JT, Nick, who's going to be traveling down from the armpits of New York to visit us, and my brother Brian, who has been begging me to do a fishing report on the show, because that's exciting, and
A lot of striped bass biting out there.
yeah, a lot out there. And we're going to be hitting Middlesex County here in New Jersey to see the Sarge live in action for Jersey Championship Wrestling. And yes, we are whoring ourselves at this show with self-promo t-shirts. So we hope to take lots of pictures of ourselves and definitely interview some wrestlers and some personnel, maybe even some fans. And hopefully with our Facebook address on both sides of our t-shirt and codenamed #live, maybe we could pick up a couple of some listeners here and there that just want to know what the hell these loony bins are doing with these shirts on.
I think it'll be a good promotion for us down there.
Yeah, man. I mean, ESPN whores themselves. I don't see why we can't whore ourselves.
Exactly. How are we supposed to get more listeners if we don't whore ourselves out a little
That's
bit?
it, man. It's all about the whoring. Yeah, it's all about the whoring. We gotta get a pimp, but maybe Sarge is our pimp.
He is our pimp.
He's our
We're
pimp.
the Godfather.
He's pimping us out. All right, let's get into our wrestling segment. I got a couple of questions that I wrote up. All right, let's start with this. Since it's the most recent rumor around the Rumorville, do you believe the rumors of AJ Lee and CM Punk being an item as reported by former superstar Conan, or is Conan being just a bitter ex-employee?
I personally think Conan's office rocker, to be honest. There's AJ Lee is my favorite. I'm gonna have to fight you for, but
I'll fight you for her.
Oh boy.
I just don't think it's true. I mean, I read a lot of stuff on it, and I mean, Conan he's just office rocker until we hear from personal sources saying that Lita and CM Punk are broken up. I just don't see it to be true.
I agree with you. Especially with the rumors a couple of, I would say about 3 weeks to 4 weeks ago about Lita being pregnant with CM Punk's kid, which, again, that was never really confirmed, so I have no idea if that's even true.
I actually know where that came from, that rumor. You
Sure.
probably follow a wrestling site called Pro Wrestling World on Facebook.
PWS?
And they were the ones who actually started that just to show how powerful they are on the in the wrestling internet community.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call that power. I just call that spam.
That's exactly what it is. But that's where it was, because a couple days after that rumor came around, they told everybody that they were the ones who came up with the rumor.
Yeah, see, to me that just pisses me off, and this kind of gets into the bit that I did on Facebook the other day and also on my personal page about I'm sick and tired of these 2-bit wrestling pages, and I'm sorry, I will blast them. One of the worst pages of them all is Spotlight. They are the worst. They go on there, they got these probably 20-year-old kids, and they just start making these ridiculous predictions and rumors and reposting pictures and stories that they got from another page, who got that from another page, who got that from another page. and always quoting sources, but nobody knows who the source is. Nobody wants to name sources. So, in my eyes, like I said, you're nothing but an armchair quarterback who knows nothing about the business, the sport, or anything other than what you see on Facebook and what you watch on television. Because if you're not going to name your sources, you're not credible, and just shut the hell up.
Exactly, and the funny thing is, I follow upwards of 15 to 20 different wrestling pages on Facebook.
I know, I'm on all the ones you are, because I see you.
Half of them repost things from each other.
And
it's
sickening.
just copy and paste, too.
Like,
it's not even like
exactly.
saying I heard it from this page. It's just copy and paste.
You know, if I'm going to copy and paste a story, I always put on the bottom where it came from, if it was like Newsday.com or WFAN, whatever the case may be.
That's the proper thing to do too. Give the credit to who the information came from.
Right. And anytime you know I copy and pasted something, because underneath it, you'll see my little editorial and opinion on it.
Exactly.
Just like I did with this story with CM Punk and AJ Lee. I said the same thing. Is Conan just being a bitter ex-employee? This is the same guy that called Cena out and called Triple H out and called CM Punk out and said that these guys were overpaid, ego-inflated babies, and nobody likes them. And
his biggest call to fame was being in the NWO Red and Black. That was his biggest call to fame in his entire career, really.
And you know, the fact that he was a Mexican wrestler, which there's most of them are luchadors, but for him to come out, he was a big powerhouse. But he had no wrestling skills whatsoever. He was a guy that was there for his size. He was a sidekick, and I just really wish Randy Savage would have kicked him in the jaw when he had the chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so moving on, I think we squished that as a rumor and a rumor only. And Conan, get a life. Big E Langston, is he the next Intercontinental Champion?
Yes.
I agree.
I feel like I don't know if they're ready to move Axel up yet. But I feel like Big E will take the title from him at Hell in a Cell on Sunday. He's got the big thing is backstage. He has Cena. Cena's in his back pocket. Cena has been a fan of his since day one, and now that Cena's going to be back, I feel like Big E Langston is going to get a nice little push.
Yeah, I agree with that. I know Triple H is a big fan of his, as well as Daniel Bryan and HBK. They like his work ethic. They like his speed and size. They compared him a lot to a shorter version of Brock Lesnar, the way he was able to explode into some moves for a guy his size.
And I feel like his wrestling, the technique that he's brought, has gotten better and better as his matches have gone on and on throughout his WWE career so far. I feel he can only get better as time goes on, especially with these guys help mentoring him, like Bryan, Michaels, Triple H, Cena. With those guys helping him out, like mentally and physically, I feel like he can only get better.
I agree. I saw, I watched him. I watched him yesterday on Raw, and he's getting a little better with the microphone. That's not for everybody, but he's getting a little better. Some guys are just not meant to be on microphone, because if you ever listen to Sting's awful on microphone.
That's why he never
Exactly. You could always get around not being great at promos. If you have a decent promo and are extremely good in the ring, you can be a star in the WWE and in the wrestling world.
Yeah, I mean, you can count on one hand the top 5 greatest guys on the microphone, and 3 of them are Hogan, Flair, and Savage. So, I mean,
exactly.
I mean, nowadays it's part of the business, but it's not a priority. Back in the 80s and early 90s, it was a priority because those promos between matches filled time, and there wasn't as many commercials and sponsors as there are now. So those promos, they filled gaps between matches.
Exactly.
And Sting was always awful. I mean, Lex Luger was awful. I mean, Ultimate Warrior was great, but you never know what the hell he was talking about.
He was just cuckoo.
Yeah, so...
I mean, that's the easiest way to say it.
But it worked. I mean, it worked for him. Nobody knew what the hell he was talking about, but we all sat there with our mouths open going, what? And...
Speaking of people who you have no idea what came out of their mouths, R-Truth last night in that the WWE shop promo.
That was hilarious.
Was insane.
That was hilarious. I was looking for it on YouTube today. I was going to download it and play it as part of our show. I might have to wait till next week, but that was hilarious.
I couldn't get enough of it. I was literally laughing as hard as I could because he's crazy, but it works.
I still see him as the next member of the Shield. I really do.
R-Truth?
R-Truth.
Huh?
He just fits the build. Big dude, athletic. He can play the heel very easy. If they're gonna phase out Seth Rollins, this is a good way to do it. So.
You never know. It could possibly with him. I also thought he was going to turn heel when him and Punk were tagging a few weeks ago.
Yep.
I thought that maybe they were going to stay with that route, but instead they obviously brought in Big E to possibly feud with Ryback in the near future.
Yep.
But you never know with the WWE. They could throw R-Truth into the mix in the Shield. They could just turn him heel and bring him into the corporation. You never know.
Well, I just hope they keep it going because, when it gets to the point where it's so damn predictable, it's not enjoyable. And then that's when you get into all these 2-bit wrestling pages that just start throwing predictions out. I mean, look, you got a 50-50 chance of getting your prediction correct.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not that hard. If you want difficulty, call 10 playoff teams in April and the 2 championship teams playing each other and who's going to win the World Series. That's hard because that's April. World Series baseball is in November. The call now, who's going to win Sunday, is not really difficult. You have a 50-50 chance of getting it right.
And it might even be better than 50-50 if you think about it, because, I mean, the way things have been going the past couple weeks, you can sort of gauge who's going to be pushed at a certain pay-per-view.
No, you're right. And speaking about the pay-per-view, I want to get your picks. CM Punk versus Ryback and Paul Heyman in the Cell handicap match.
That's a toss-up in my mind because I do feel like Punk is going to get the better of him this time because rumors have it that this will be the end of the feud between Ryback, Punk, and Heyman. So I want to say Punk overall.
I want to say Punk as well because I know they want to move Punk back into the championship picture.
Exactly.
And Ryback, I think, as well, is going to get into the championship picture, but I think they'll start him off at the World Championship instead of the WWE Championship, which, with Paul Heyman, anything's possible. Did you see the promo Paul Heyman did yesterday where he was flying off the handle and Curtis Axel's expressions in the background were hilarious?
I saw pictures of that on Facebook today, too, as well, and it was 3 pictures on top of each other, and on the very bottom was the Ultimate Warrior's face posted on top of Paul Heyman.
I mean, he just went absolutely nuts. And
he's so
great.
good on the mic, and it's very hard to find that nowadays because promos are important, but they're not as important like they were back in the 80s, and he's a genius when it comes to his mic work.
He improvs very well because they said that he does a lot of improv. Like he doesn't, his stuff is not pre-written all the time. That he kind of goes on his own, and we know sometimes that doesn't work out for the best because Dusty Rhodes did it a couple weeks ago, and that pissed off Stephanie McMahon when he threw his hand in front of her face. So she didn't like that. But Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton for the vacated WWE Championship with HBK as the guest referee.
I actually think Daniel Bryan is going to win it. And I have a feeling Shawn Michaels is going to call it right down the middle, and that in turn is going to piss off Triple H. And then we might see something, because they have been trying to push HBK to possibly get back in the ring. Possibly at WrestleMania. It's a chance, but I don't see it happening. But I have a feeling the match is going to be called down the middle, and Triple H is going to get pissed off at HBK about it. So I'm going to go with Daniel Bryan.
I think Daniel Bryan is going to win. I think HBK will call it down the middle. I think once the cage is lifted, that Triple H is going to come down. He is going to get into the face of Shawn Michaels, and Big Show is going to come down and knock Triple H out again, which is going to set up WrestleMania or maybe a sooner pay-per-view where HBK will be the guest referee in a Triple H Big Show match.
Definitely. Rumors were swirling past the past month saying that Big Big Show and Triple H might have even been in a Hell in a Cell. But I mean, obviously it's a little too late for that now. But there definitely is going to be a match between the two of them in the future.
Well, we said it on this show about 5 weeks ago that the rumor was that Triple H was going to have 2 more matches before Mania. One was going to be against the Big Show, and the second one, a lot of people said, was going to be against Daniel Bryan, which looks like it could happen because Daniel Bryan did call him out yesterday and basically challenged him to a match.
Exactly, and I was actually just about to mention that about him and Big Show. Like, that's going to happen. That's a no-brainer. And then Triple H definitely has one more match in him. Well, you put it in quotes, one more match, because you really never know with him, because he is in such great physical shape that he could decide a year from now, hey, I want to I want to get in the ring at WrestleMania, and he'd still be able to do it.
How did you feel about his comments regarding Jericho, Edge, and Rob Van Dam, that if they were the guys to lead the torch, to be the torch holder of WWE back in the day, that they'd all be working for Ted Turner right now?
I think it was just a shoot. It was just a promo, and everybody's blowing up about what Jericho said on Twitter.
Yeah.
I feel like Jericho was just working as well.
He was
just throwing some random stuff out there, just being himself, working his WWE character, and that, to me, that's all it was.
Yep, Edge even had a quote saying, somebody asked him about it, and he said, look, it's entertainment. People feel, seem to forget about this, that, there's no such thing as the Easter Bunny either. And he also made a quote saying that he thinks that the furry bunnies are sneaky. So
exactly, and it's just it was all just a promo, and people are blowing it way out of proportion. He just picked some guys that he knew would push people's buttons.
Yep.
Edge is always going to be one of the top guys in the business. He was always going to be one of the top guys in the business. Chris Jericho, they could be heel or face, and people are going to cheer those two.
Okay.
And with RVD, they're just great. They were great competitors, and I still feel like it was just a complete shoot.
Okay, we got to speed things up. Alberto Del Rio versus Cena for the World Championship.
To be honest, this is the biggest toss-up of them all. In my mind, I want to say Cena's going to win it, and then hopefully Damien Sandow cashes it in. That is the only thing that I can think of at this moment.
I think that is going to happen because I don't think Cena is actually ready to come back. AJ Lee versus Brie Bella for the Divas Championship.
Sadly, I feel like it's going to be Brie's time to take the title. As much as I don't want it to happen, I have a feeling it will.
Well, Brie's in-ring has been much better, a lot better. I mean,
absolutely.
She looks really, really good.
Throwing it around that Daniel has actually been training her too.
Yep. Okay. Usos versus Team Rhodes versus The Shield for the tag team championships that belong to Team Rhodes right now.
Team Rhodes and Goldust will keep the titles. It's just too soon to take it off of them. I feel like they'll keep the titles until round Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber.
Okay. 5 matches are on this pay-per-view. 6 if you count the pre-show. That doesn't really count. 3-hour pay-per-view. 5 matches. Is this even possible, efficiently filling out this pay-per-view?
I have a feeling just like the last pay-per-view, you're going to have a filler match that gets thrown in there, like Axel versus R-Truth last month. I have a feeling they're going to throw in a filler match in there somewhere. There's no way that you can fill 3 hours with 5 matches.
I say that match is going to be Dolph Ziggler versus Dean Ambrose for the United States Championship.
I hope it is, because that would be, again, those two are great competitors, and I actually still hope that Ambrose retains the title, because I don't think Dolph deserves to be that low on the totem pole.
Okay. Fair. What the hell happened to Caitlyn?
She disappeared off the face of the earth. That's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, she came out after the last pay-per-view on Monday Night Raw, and we haven't seen her since.
It's got to be some kind of injury that we haven't heard of. That's the only thing I can think of. Or maybe they're really trying to push the Total Divas girls and the AJ angle, and she's just not in that vibe over there.
Okay. Well, we already said the Big Show and HBK might have an impact some way in this match, so that pretty much wraps us up, and we appreciate you giving us a call. And hopefully next week, I think we're going to be doing a Sunday show, So hopefully we'll get you and the Sarge on, and possibly Nani Raw, and we could get our Wrestlers Roundtable back in effect.
I will absolutely be here, and hopefully we won't have too much audio trouble this time.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Nick.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, later.
Take it easy, bud.
That was Nick with the Wrestling Report here on Damage 365 Radio. We're just about out of time. We thank you for listening to episode number 28. And like we said, Sunday we'll be doing a show. And from myself and JT, have an awesome week, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Halloween.
Stay here. I know.